Hi everyone, it's Melissa Thomas from C2C Stamping, and I'm excited to share with you our September Merrymakers card class. If you have missed out on the Merrymakers bandwagon, there's a couple of us who partnered together to do a Christmas card series every fall, and we've been doing this for several years now. And we have 2 more classes to go. If you want to join us for Merrymakers for October and November, please message us, reach out. But super excited to show you the Christmas Friends projects that we made. I have a few folks who get the kit to go, so they get the kit mailed to them. So I'm going to kind of talk them through what they got in their kit. And it also kind of shows you what we do for our customers and why you might want to take a class with us. So, all right, let's dig in. So this month featured the Take a Bow designer series paper, the peppermints, which were hard to come by, but we made it happen, and the red and white twine, which you can see I am almost down to nothing on that, and that is also on back order right now. That is why I don't have any extra kits to sell. If you are interested in the PDF, you can purchase it for $15 from any of those that teach the Merrymakers series. The first card is the Happy Holidays with the cute little mouse. He's super cute. All of your little packages and stars and stuff came pre-cut for you. So we try to do the die work for you as much as possible, unless it's punching or cutting designer series paper. You'll cut your own designer series paper. In this case, I did go ahead and punch out some DSP for mine for the packages, but let's go ahead and put this card together and I'll show you a few coloring tips for this. So this has a garden green card base, and we're gonna go ahead and put our white piece on the inside so that we have a place to write. All right, and then the designer series piece for the front, I decided to use a different sheet for this. We actually had originally, the design was this pattern, which I really do love, but I'm out of that pattern, and so I'm using some other ones, and it's gonna be okay. I don't think for this one it really matters. So, all right, so on this square piece, we are going to stamp the tree. This is a red rubber stamp set. So what that means is that, you know, aiming is probably a little more difficult. But I'm just going to stamp 3 of them. You could stamp a tree and like pop it up with dimensionals or just have it flat, but I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, and we're going to call that good enough for the trees. So, and then we're going to stamp the Happy Holiday sentiment also in garden green. I should not have closed that. All right. There we go. Happy Holidays. All right, and then I actually put little notes on here because we're going to stamp the mouse in Memento, and we're going to color him with crumb cake, dark granny apple green, some smoky slate, and some real red. And we're going to use our blend markers, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit when I start to color, just because I get asked all the time for coloring tips, and I want to be able to show you a little bit closer. All right, so we've got our little mousey, and we're gonna pull crumb cake. Yeah, crumb cake, real red. We don't need much for that. And a little smoky slate, light and dark maybe. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna do the bow, and it's very tiny. So There's really no extra coloring that there's even room for on that one, honestly. And for the little book, I'm just going to use the dark granny apple green, which you could use garden green as well, but I find that the dark granny apple green is kind of a nice bright green. It's not as obnoxious as the light one. The light one's almost like parakeet looking. So I think that's fine. And then for the bell, I'm gonna add a little bit of dark here and here. And then I'm just gonna color the rest with my light. So a couple of tips for coloring with blend markers is to color to the line but not on the line. So you're just gonna get close because the ink spreads out, and so you don't have to color on the line itself, which is fine. I'm going to try to, we had a little issue with one of my markers the other day, and so nope. All right, so I'll just use this end. All right, we're gonna add some dark crumb cake. And I do like to add the dark first. I think it's time for a new crumb cake marker. And so I'll add it where they have added shadows. So Stampin' Up! Is pretty good with the coloring ones. It will kind of show you, okay, here's where we want, the darker pieces to go. Be careful in there. And then we're going to take our light and we're going to lay down some color, and we're going to kind of blend out that line so that we get some shadows, but we don't get too much of a harsh line. We don't want a line. And that's why we use the blend markers, because they give us such a nice coloring technique. I think that they make your coloring look professional and less like you're using a pack of kids markers, right? And more like you're, an adult who likes to color, which is me. I'm an adult who likes to color. So I usually come back and kind of, go over those darker places and kind of help blend that out. I'll add a little bit of coloring to his feet. And I'll do a little bit of coloring on his tail. Super cute. And then I'm actually going to use the gray marker, and I'm just going to make his nose a wee bit light, or a wee bit darker. So, okay. He's so cute. All right, and then we need to use our circle punch, which is the 2-inch circle punch. We're just going to adhere this to this. Looking for my glue, of course. And then we can put some dimensionals on the back of this. We're gonna add that piece. I'm gonna kind of zoom out a little bit. Oh, maybe not. All right. Perfect, there's that guy. And then I'm just gonna add some glue on the back of here. Center that. And then I'm gonna come back in a bit and I'm gonna add those pieces. For that, if I had done adhesive sheets, that would have been wise, but I didn't, so that's okay. I'll just use a little bit of glue and I'll glue them together. But that'll finish up our card. And yeah, super cute. All right, so there's card number 1. Perfect. And move on to card number 2. So card number 2 is the adorable owl. He's so cute. And you could color him a couple of different ways. So I'm going to show you, this is one way and this is another. So this owl is more of like a snowy owl maybe, and this is more probably like an owl we see here in Texas. We don't really get these kind of owls in Texas. I used some scraps to do this because I didn't really think I needed like more than that. This card base is Granny Apple Green. Again, we're just going to adhere some of the designer series paper. I love this little plaid, whatever, cross pattern. And let's do that. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment on here. I will be thinking of you this season. And we're gonna stamp it in real red. And it's a longer sentiment. I think I mounted the sticker a little crooked, but let's see. See if I can get it straight. And if I don't, you know, it's okay. It's pretty straight. Straight enough, right? All right, then I've got my little guy. So I stamped him in Memento ink, and I'm going to use some of the bronze and the ivory markers. So we still have bronze and ivory markers. We also have what are called the SUs. They're the skin tone markers, and those are really nice too. There's 10 of them, and so you get a nice, you know, range of skin colors. But for this one, we're just gonna do this. And I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna kind of color a little bit of this wing. I think his wings should definitely be dark. And then I'm gonna kind of like, you know, do some spots here. And I'm gonna make mine still kind of like I did before. I'm not gonna do the white on there. And then I'm just doing one like kind of side of his nails or his little claw to show the shadow. Sorry, I'm not, apparently I can't color and talk at the same time, which is impressive. All right, and then I'm gonna come in with the ivory marker. And I'm a lefty, so I'm gonna shift it to the left so that I'm not coloring on top of the work. Us lefties are weird, right? Who else has a lefty? Comment below, I'd love to know. If you're a left-handed person, I'd love to know who my fellow left-handed folks are. All right. Okay. So there he is. He's super cute. I got up there. He's so cute. Perfect. And then I'm going to do a little bit of real red. And I am going to add a little bit of the darker real red on. I'm going to add it right here by the white fluffy stuff in the crease, a little bit down here, maybe a little here. So they've kind of shown me where I should add the darker pieces. So now I can come back with the lighter one. This is a really small area, so I'm going to use the bullet tip. But that's what's nice about Stampin' Up's stamps, is that when they know we're going to color, they provide us with some nice kind of guidelines. All right, and then there's a die set that goes with this stamp set if you haven't seen it. Super cute. So the dies have, we can die cut all of the animals. There's a circle, there's some greenery, there's some music notes, some stars, a little bow tie, a little word bubble, some presents, and the cross marks, the ribbons for all the little presents. So, and then this is for the tree. So it's actually a really nice die set. It's a really robust die set. A lot of times when we get these coloring, these stamps, they're kind of meant to be colored. We don't get dies with them, or they're not very robust. So I was really excited about this. But let's say that you don't have the dies. I know it's shocking, but you could just come in and fussy cut them. And, you know, I appreciate that I don't have to get super close, right? When I'm fussy cutting, I can just kind of circle around. It helps to not have a bunch of extra paper, though, that you're like trying to fight with when you're cutting, when you're fuzzy cutting, as my daughter called it for years, instead of fussy cutting. And it is fussy, but I think that, you know, if you don't want to buy the die set, or you don't have it, or it's not in your budget right now, this isn't hard to do. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, that's hard, you know, but this one's not hard. These are just some kind of roundish shapes that I don't think are very difficult. There's a lot of detail in his little claws and stuff. He's really cute. And you just want to keep a little white bubble or halo around what you're cutting, and then that will help you do that. All right, so we'll go back. So we're going to wrap the little, we're gonna wrap this twine around here, and then we'll pop him up with some dimensionals with this, and then we'll pop up the whole panel. So that one's pretty easy. I don't know that I have enough twine to do that, so I'm gonna have to figure out an alternative method for that. All right, card number 3 is the adorable polar bear. We'll talk a little bit about him. So he has the plaid embossing folder, which is super pretty. And then we've punched some circles. There's some 2-inch and some 2 3/8" circles. This is actually from the same paper, but we're just gonna flip one, right? Which is kind of nice. We've got our stitch circle that we're gonna stamp our polar bear on. So when we're putting these two pieces together, we're just going to, I like to start at the bottom edge and work my way up. So I'm just gonna put a lot of glue on my plaid, and I'm gonna start at the bottom and just make sure that I've got, you know, I've got it nice and flush with the bottom. Then there is a strip of the green. If you wanted to wrap the twine around the green, you could. I found it very difficult, so I just wrapped the twine around the whole thing. That made that a lot easier for me. So it's just wrapped around the whole card. All right, and then we're gonna glue down our circles. So this circle, and we kind of put these stripes on an angle, and so that's good to kind of see that. And then this one, super cute. Let's see if I can go down a little bit. There we go. Awesome. And now we're gonna do a little bit of stamping and a little bit of coloring. So we're gonna stamp our big guy, and we're actually gonna stamp him in crumb cake. The reason we're gonna stamp him in crumb cake is so that we can color him, and he's gonna be a little bit, it's gonna be a little softer and not quite as harsh of a line, which I think is nice. We called him our Coca-Cola bear the other day, and I think that is what he looks like. So if you're interested in joining in person, I do this class in person every month as well, or online. So you can choose which way you want to do it. You get a full printed PDF. You get like this, you know, nice set of instructions that has pictures. It has all the, you know, pieces. It has ingredients and measurements and everything. And that's all prepped and sent to you. And then you can prep them on your own. You can wait for the video to come out, whatever you want, whatever works for you. And we're gonna stamp our sentiment We're gonna stamp it in black only because, and I think I could do it in early espresso too, but I'm just gonna do it in black because that's what I have right here. And I'm gonna stamp it in the middle. Hopefully I did a good job. Not bad. I might try the other side. All right, it's always fun to try to stamp on camera, right? Yeah, that might be better. Okay, and we're going to flag the end. So when we do that, we just cut up the middle, right? And then we go from one point to the middle, and we go from the other point to the middle. And there we go, we've got our cute little banner. So to make him extra cute, of course, we've got some real red, we've got some granny apple green for his wreath, and then we're not gonna color him at all. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our marker, our blend marker, and we're just gonna go around him. I hope this is light. Oh, it is good. So with some light pool party. So one of the techniques and one of the tricks of making a white animal appear white without actually having to color him is to color the area around him. So as you can see, I'm just going in, I'm being kind of sketchy and artsy fartsy, and I'm just adding a little bit of color all the way around him and a little halo. And this is gonna make him pop and appear more white, like a polar bear should be. So cute. All right, now I just have to do the wreath. So I'm gonna do all the little berries on the wreath. And I'm gonna add some dark here. Okay, then I'm gonna take my light and I'm gonna come in and color the rest of the bow. And some folks start with light first and then do dark, and some folks, and then I'll see them come back and like add dark again. I think it's just faster just to start with the dark and call it a day, but that's me. And then I'm gonna add dark on the wreath, kind of around the wreath. So I'm making the edges dark because like I said before, I think for me, the light granny apple green is a little too light. And I'm very gently kind of going around his neck right there. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of dark up here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of dark kind of on the area that's around his neck as well. All right, then I'm gonna come in with the light and I'm gonna try to be careful and color around the berries, but yet also kind of softening that line. So I'm trying to avoid the berries. Hollies, I don't know what they are. Christmas ornaments, who knows, right? But all right, so I think very close. Nice. All right, there's our cute guy. Isn't he cute? I think he's adorable. And we're gonna take this little sentiment and we're just gonna put, I'm gonna use a little bit of dry glue, just real quick. Make sure he kind of lines up how I want him to. And then again, pop that up with some dimensionals on the card front. And this one, we're gonna sprinkle a few of the little peppermint candies as well. We did that with the owl as well. All right, the last one is a fun little moose, and it's a gift card holder, which is really nice. If you got the kit in the mail, I messed up a measurement, but it's very easy to fix. So All you'll want to do is take your card and the side where there's a crease already, because I scored it for you, when you fold this in, you'll see it's like gonna hit the inside. I should have trimmed off a piece here and I just didn't. I was not paying attention. And so that piece, you should cut 3/4 of an inch off of that piece. So off of that little flappy piece. And what that will allow you to do is, of course, actually fold it in. And it'll allow the gift card to be, you know, you can actually tuck a gift card in there now and close the card. So a couple pieces that you're gonna need. You've got your inside white piece, which is great because that's gonna give us lots of contrast and also a place to write. So we're gonna put our white piece on the inside. And then you have 2 pieces of this paper. It's the polka dots. One is the smaller piece that's gonna go on the inside. So we're going to put some glue on that and we're going to glue that down. And then the other one is for the outside, and we're gonna glue so that the polka dots are showing. And sometimes I kind of rub it around like that to give it a little better adhesion. All right, so now we need, you can use any kind of circle punch or anything that you have, but you need to cut a notch out. This is an old 1.5 inch circle punch I had laying around. And then the other thing you're gonna want is a little bit of tear and tape. We're gonna put some tear and tape on this flap. I'm gonna try to do it so you can see. So I'm gonna put one piece here on the bottom, and then I'm gonna put one piece on the top. And let me know if being zoomed in was helpful today or not. Like sometimes, you know, you guys leave comments and I try to pay attention to what you're saying. I know that working upside down wasn't great for you, so I've stopped showing my face at the beginning of videos because of that, because I can't figure out a smooth way to do that. So that's why you just get the hello with my fingers now. But all right, so then we're gonna put this in the middle and we're just gonna glue one side down. So I'm just going to, I like to kind of hold where, you know, that is, and then I'm gonna put some glue here. So making sure that I'm not gluing the whole card shut, right? That's the goal. It's hard to tell if that's straight based on the polka dots. They're tripping me out. All right, good. We have stamped our, we can actually put the white piece on as well because we're not gonna stamp on that either. So I could have just put those together, but that's fine. We cut these out with the countryside corners. If you have the old corner punch that cuts at an angle, you could just use that too if you wanted. And then we're gonna stamp the Happy Holidays, but we're going to stamp it in real red. And in addition to that, we're gonna cut it in half. So we're gonna do this, and hopefully I have a wipey here. Perfect. All right. All right. So we're gonna stamp the Happy Holidays on our little piece of white, and then we're going to cut it in half, and then we can mount it and use it. So that'll be great. And then we're gonna color our moose, and you're gonna be surprised by what we use for him. All right, so those guys are gonna go there. So Mr. Moose is colored with, so the SU 800 we're gonna use for his muzzle and his antlers. And then The SU 500 we're going to use for his body. We're going to use a little bit of smoky slate for his skates, some of the dark granny apple green, and some of the dark real red. And I think that's it. So let's color this guy. All right, so we're going to do his muzzle. I'm going to use the brush end for this. So I do like the brush end a lot because I find I can get a pretty fine tip and I'm pretty gentle, but not everybody loves the brush end. And so if you have issues with the brush end or you don't like it, you know, try it. I think it's really great for blending. I think it's great for big spaces. I use a lot of like circular movements. You'll notice when I'm coloring, that helps to kind of blend so you don't get streaks and lines. And then with the SU 500, which is the darker one, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go and I'm going to lay down a pretty heavy hand where I want it darker, okay? So I want some darkness here, right? All where Stampin' Up! Has told me that I should be coloring things darker, right? So I'm gonna add some of this first. And I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna color him. What I like about the markers is that you can actually almost get two tones just with one marker because of the way that you lay the ink down. So I can come back and I can add a darkness there, right? And so now he's got a little bit of a darker face on one side, which is really great. And so I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna color him. But then I'm going to come back and I'm going to add a little bit more here. And this is going to help to add some shadows, right? And so I want him all colored, but I want part of him darker. And that's what we can get with those markers. With just one marker, we can get dark and light. And if you wanted it even darker, you know, you could come back and you could really add, you know, some darker there, right? But we're gonna get that variance in the moose, and he's super cute. All right, he's gonna get some green socks, of course, because mooses wear green socks, right? And then we're going to color his scarf. I'll do green. And then we're going to do green here, so we have the most contrast. Green. And I went a little over there. I could use a color lifter if I really wanted to. I don't think I'm going to. I don't think it's worth it. And I think like here I went over a little bit too, but I think once I add the red, I don't even think you're gonna notice. So, and it's okay. It's not supposed to be perfect. If it was too perfect, then no one would know that these were handmade cards. So, do you have the Christmas Friends stamp set? Are you getting it? Do you think this would be fun? I think this is a fun set. It's fun to color them. They're really, really cute. These guys are really, really cute. All right, this is the light smoky slate. I don't know where the dark went. There it is. Okay, there's the dark. I do have to read them frequently. So I used the dark for the blades. So I used the dark one for the skate blades. And then I did a little bit of dark on the heel and a little bit of dark on the ties. But that was it. And then I just use the light. That's okay. Just a marker falling down. All right. And then there is a die that cuts the moose out. And the moose, he might be worth using the die. I mean, you could definitely fussy cut him out. But in this case, we used the die. So we have the moose, and we're going to put these up on some little mini dimensionals. So I've got my little guys here. You know, nothing polishes a card like having something popped up on dimensionals. Dimensionals really can make the difference on a card between, you know, a nice card and a card that is really impressive. So we'll pop up our moose and add him, and we'll add a few of the peppermints, and we'll be done. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please let me know what you think. Let me know if being closer was more helpful. I know you don't get to see everything, and I know sometimes I'm out of frame. I'll try to do better on that. But thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.